Demonic Trickery has officially returned to Sanctuary this holiday season, as once again the 22 Nights of Terror have descended upon us. Similar to last year, this event will run 22 days, with the fabric of Sanctuary being altered every 24 hours. Last year's 22 Nights of Terror brought a naughty and nice mix of both powerful yet disappointing buffs, and while this list was a bit random last year, we will need to unpack what to expect for the festive beltway ahead. What's up, Sanctuary? It's great to be back. It has been a minute since my last video, and this is well timed as we enter the primer of the holiday season with the return of the 22 Nights of Terror. So Sanctuary, I have a question for you. Should we expect the repeating pandemonium of Gamble Mania every Friday? And are we really going to see any new additions to the festive demonic buffs from what we saw last year? Well, that is precisely what we're going to unpack a little bit today as we do a little bit of a look in the rear, doing a recap, and we project the possibilities of the road ahead. Now, for those that maybe didn't experience the event last year, I did a great recap highlighting my top 5 favorite festive buffs, and you can also find that link below, in addition to my top 5 worst disappointments. And I definitely would encourage you to check those out so you can get a crash course into what we saw last year. So what you're looking at here is the chronological order of the 2022 holiday event last year, which also launched on December 13th, and the inaugural event was Terrorize Cows for 24 hours. Now, one of the main kind of speculations last year was how random was this? Was this scripted? How did the sequences actually work? But really looking and breaking down this analysis last year and doing it again this year, there really is no discernible pattern here. The only thing that was very scripted and telegraphed is what we have highlighted here in purple, which for many was the #1 event, which was Gamble Mania or Black Friday sales with the NBC vendor prices off. So very quickly, the way to read this is that column C is the actual buff in the game. The actual name of the daily event is in column D, and of course the day of week. Now, it's unsurprising with Black Friday because of course the event name was Black Friday sales. December 16th, 23rd, and 30th are indeed Fridays. So that seemed to make a little bit of logical sense, but to be clear, everything else really truly was random. Now, I wanted to break this down a little bit and understand, outside of vendor repeating Black Friday, what else did we actually see? And you'll see we had Terrorize Cows 3 times. We did have a couple repeaters with bonus health regeneration, damage to undead, physical damage increased by 50%, in addition to Terror Zone rotating every 15 minutes. But the rest of that list was only seen actually once, and you can see some of those again, reoccurring events and their dates down below. So like I said, it was an interesting kind of run last year. There really was no pattern here. I think what's important to take away from this is that because we did have a handful of singular events, including this last one on January 3rd, which was hero resistances are boosted up to 75%, that was not something we saw previously. And so my gut reaction and hunch there at the end of this event was that this really is probably a feeder or a hopper. When you think about Powerball or you're thinking about bingo and you literally have balls bouncing around and somebody's pulling them out, the real open question becomes, what are we specifically going to see in 2023, and can we expect anything new? Now, as we all know, 2023 did officially kick off this afternoon at 11 a.m. Pacific, and we started with 100% bonus move speed and stamina, which is indeed one of the buffs that we saw last year. However, some people actually got a little confused on this. I'm going to explain one of these little nuggets here. So as you're going to notice, we have 100% bonus move speed and stamina, and the event type is titled Sugar Rush. And the reason people thought this was actually new or a little confused, and that this might be optimistic for 2023, is because we did not actually see any event type called Sugar Rush. But let me show you actually what's going on here. So if we focus on December 19th and December 20th, you're going to see that incidentally, there were 2 back-to-back events called Milk and Cookies. The first Milk and Cookies was bonus health regeneration to heroes on December 19th, followed by 100% bonus move speed and stamina. However, if you navigate down to December 28th, we had a repeat of Milk and Cookies, and it was properly linked to bonus health regeneration to heroes. The way that I am looking at this is that this was an oversight and a mistake. 100% bonus move speed and stamina was never meant to be called Milk and Cookies. It probably was meant to be called Sugar Rush, which is much more befitting of the movement speed buff. So while I think people jumped out of their seat, they got a little excited about this, I'm going to temper your expectations here a little bit. It is the exact same buff as you can see that happened on December 20th of last year. It is just simply a new name. One critical call out when comparing 2023 and this year's event to last year is that December 16th was the first Friday on last year's calendar, but that will actually be December 15th of this year. So again, if we predict that we are going to see the NPC 50% reduction on back-to-back-to-back Fridays, then we should expect to actually see that first event coming on December 15th, and time will tell. Now, this also raises a very important element, which is ensuring that you have a Geeds, ensuring that you have a Edge Runeward Bow, and I actually did do a video demonstration on this previously, and I will have this link below. Now, as far as what we can expect this year and some of my predictions, I actually do believe at my core that we are going to see some differentiation this year, only because they were there previously, they just weren't randomly selected. So that means that we are probably going to see some repeaters like we already saw this morning with the 100% buff to movement speed and stamina. Again, that was a holiday buff from last year. It's just now rebranded Sugar Rush. So the question really becomes, what else are we going to see, and will it actually happen over the 22 nights? Hopefully it does, because that would really make the diversity of the experience a little bit spicier, a little bit more fun. But otherwise, that's really what I'm most looking forward to. Now, until then, stay frosty, Sanctuary. I hope you guys enjoyed the event, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.